Welcome to Learn Commerce PU online classes. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.
Hello students, welcome to second PUC accountancy online classes. Students, we have concluded previous chapter, that is a ratio analysis. We have come across a number of ratios like profitability ratios, turnover ratios, isn't it? Then solvency ratios like debt equity ratio, turnover ratios like different turnover ratios. It's trade payable turnover, trade receivable turnover, inventory turnover, all these are turnover ratios, isn't it? They may ask in examination like theory question may be asked like give one example for that's a turnover ratio, give two examples for turnover ratio, profitability ratios, gross profit ratio, net profit ratio, operating profit ratio, isn't it? All these are profitability ratios. Liquidity ratios like debt equity, isn't it? So all these are different ratios we have studied. Now let us move on to the last chapter, that is a cash flow statement. Cash flow statement, isn't it? Friends, cash flow statements are also a part of financial statements. When you come across there is financial statements, balance sheet and statement of profit and loss, those are the only two, that is statements we have come across. And we know, I already told you, as per accounting standard we have to represent these statements, isn't it? We have to compulsorily file these statements with the registrar of companies, then it should be approved, isn't it? In shareholders meeting it should be it should get the approval of the shareholders also, the owners of the company. So in addition to statement of profit and loss and balance sheet, AS3, isn't it? That is accounting standards 3 issued by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. It makes compulsory, or it makes a cash flow statement as a part of financial statements. What is cash flow statement? Why it is required? What are the objectives behind cash flow statement? Isn't it? All these we have to study now. Friends, cash flow statement, because cash is the ultimate thing. Whatever you do, ultimately, whether you invest in machinery, whether you buy inventory, whether you pay for the employees, whether you pay for the expenses, or whether you earn goodwill for the business, whatever it is, ultimately cash is the ultimate. Am I correct? Because everything is done with the help of cash. Any expense to be payable, you will pay with the help of cash, and anything to be receivable, you will receive in the form of cash. So cash is the ultimate in the business. When you earn profit, it should be in terms of cash only, isn't it? You have to receive amount. When you receive amount, when you pay amount, cash is the most liquid one. So it is better to study about the cash flow statement. What is cash flow statement? It is a statement of cash inflow and cash outflow of a business organization. When a business organization gets started, then cash inflow and cash outflow it's in common. Mostly at the beginning, cash outflow will be there. Like suppose a business has started, and for the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 these years, there may be only cash outflows, isn't it? Outflow in the sense, we will pay the cash, we will spend the cash, we will pay out. Cash goes out of the business, isn't it? So during 0 year, this is the current year, we have started the business, maybe 1 lakh rupees, that is cash outflow. Second year again, we have invested 5 lakh for buying the machinery, maybe for further, that is expenses, we have spent 5 lakh, isn't it? Like that, we will spend the amount. Here again maybe 3 lakh. Then again maybe we have started the we have started constructing the building. So maybe another 5 lakh we have spent here, isn't it? During last year, maybe that is 5th year, we have spent 2 lakh. Now, next year, 6th year onwards, no outflow. Now, the cash inflow starts maybe 2 lakh rupees. We have sold the finished products. We have started manufacturing. Commercial production has started, and during 6th year, we have started getting cash from outside. That is by selling the goods and services, isn't it? Maybe during 7th year, cash inflow increased to 5 lakh. Maybe during next year, we have earned a cash flow of 10 lakh. Like this, these are called cash inflows and cash outflows. Let me put it in other way. I will buy one, there is a masala dosa making pan, isn't it? I have paid maybe 2000 rupees to buy that pan. Next day, I will start preparing masala dosa. Till it gets adjusted, isn't it? That pan should get adjusted. Maybe for 4 or 5 times when you do masala dosas on continuous basis, then the pan gets adjusted and you will get fine. There is a super quality, a good quality masala dosa, isn't it? At the beginning, it may be torn masala dosas like that, maybe of different shapes, isn't it? So, when you start getting good quality masala dosa and you start selling the masala dosa, you will recover the money. That is the money invested to buy the pan, isn't it? You will get it back. That is, whatever you have invested to buy the pan is nothing but cash outflow. You are paying cash to buy the pan, and you are preparing masala dosa and you are selling masala dosa, and thereby you are generating cash. You are getting cash from the customers. Don't you think it is inflow of cash? Cash is moving inside the business. Cash is entering the business, isn't it? So that is inflow of cash. So this is called cash inflow and cash outflow. So there are 2 types of flows, cash flows. One is cash inflow, which means the business will receive money by selling the goods or services, and the other one is cash outflow, that is money paid, isn't it, to acquire different assets or for any other purpose to run the business. We spend the money, that is cash outflow. Got the meaning of cash inflow and cash outflow clearly, right? Is it fine? Yes. Now, next part is what is cash flow statement? A cash flow statement is a statement which is prepared to know the movement of cash, that is inflow and outflow of cash. It is a record of the movement of cash, or it is a record of the cash outflow and cash inflow of a business is called cash flow statement. And it is also one of the financial, that is statements, financial statements, like your trading, there's in the statement of profit and loss and balance sheet you have. In the same way, you will have a cash flow statement. It is mandatory to prepare cash flow statement nowadays, isn't it? Now, let me move on to the objectives of cash flow statements. What are the objectives? What is the rationale or idea behind preparing, that is, cash flow statements? Let us study this. To provide information about the cash inflow and outflow. Cash inflow and outflow, isn't it? So here cash inflow and cash outflow, this movement of cash into the business and out of the business. So this information when we get, we will come to know what is the ultimate liquidity position of the business. What do you mean by liquidity position? Ability to pay for the expenses of the firm, isn't it? When the firm is getting continuous cash inflow, then the ability of the firm to pay for the expenses will increase, or the liquidity position of the business will increase because the firm is getting cash every day. Suppose a consumer, there is a product, or let us take up fast moving consumer goods, FMCG, fast moving consumer goods, isn't it? Where you will get cash every day, you are selling every day, like a newspaper, isn't it? They will invest at night, and in the morning by maybe 7 or 8 their cash gets recovered. So that is cash inflow. When we get cash on regular basis, every day we are getting cash, then it is easy for us to manage the cash, and it is easy for a business organization to pay for the expenses, or to maintain its liquidity position, or to pay off to meet the obligations of the business. It is very easy, it becomes very easy. If the firm is not having cash inflow, like manufacturing industries, they take 3 to 5 years to get established, isn't it? And when the commercial production starts, it may be after 4 or 5 years, then it is very difficult for them to maintain the liquidity position, because no inflow of cash. Till the commercial production gets started, no income for the company. Once it gets streamlined, when the commercial production gets started, then the product will go to market, and from that day onwards they will get income from the a sale of goods. So in case of manufacturing companies, the liquidity position will be less compared to fast moving consumer goods, right? So that is one of the reasons why cash flow statement is required, because we will come to know regarding the cash inflow and cash outflow, and thereby the business organization, the management will come to know, the top management will come to know, that is what is the liquidity position of the business. Second one is to classify, to know the operating, investing and financing. Investing and financing activities of the business. This can be easily known. Operating in the sense that is whatever expenses you are spending to produce the goods or to provide the services to the customers, isn't it? And till the goods are manufactured or till the goods are sold, whatever expenses you incur, that comes under the operating activities. So when you run a business, the expenses that are spent by the organization is nothing but operating expenses. So we can classify the cash flow activities, that is inflow and outflow, as operating, investing and financing. Investing in the sense how much you have invested in fixed assets, how much you have invested in current assets. You know it very well, that is when you invest more in current assets, your liquidity position will increase, friends, but your profitability position decreases. Higher the investment in long term or non-current assets or fixed assets, your ability to increase your profit will start. Higher the investment in fixed assets, higher will be the chance for earning profit. Higher the investment in current assets, higher will be your liquidity position of the business, but lower will be your profitability, that is a chance. So you have the business organization has to strike a balance between the investment in current assets and the fixed assets. So that is very important for a business. So we can classify from which activity we got the cash or on which activity we are spending cash, that can be easily classified and known if we prepare, that is cash flow statement. Here investing in the sense investing in the fixed assets, to buy the fixed assets, whatever amount that is invested, that is nothing but investing activity, isn't it? Then when you sell long term assets, fixed assets, then whatever you generate is nothing but income generated from, that is investing activities. We will classify it later. I will take up later in the next class. That is the classification of these activities will be explained. Then financing activities, in the sense the sources you have opted for to finance your business, like whether you are arranging money from the bank, financial institutions, by issue of shares, issue of bonds, issue of debentures, accepting the public deposits, all these are the different sources of business finance, friends. So when you invest, that is a finance, you have to think which is the cheapest source of fund. Is it debt or equity? For a profit making company, equity will be, for a bumper profit making company, equity will be a costlier source. In that case, it is better to go for debt fund, because on debt you have to pay a fixed rate of interest, isn't it? Fixed, that is obligation will come, but in case of equity, higher the profits, higher should be higher you have to pay the dividend, that is chances for earning more income by the equity shareholders will be more in case of higher, that is bumper profit making companies. Whatever profit you are earning should be paid to the equity shareholders in the form of dividend. When the company earns bumper profit, the shareholders will demand we increase the rate of dividend, isn't it? Because it depends purely upon the profit. So in such cases, equity will be costlier source and debt will be a cheaper source of finance. In case of average profit making companies or loss making companies, debt will be cheaper, that will be costlier source of finance, because you have to pay fixed interest rate, isn't it? At the fixed interest rate you have to pay the interest on the, that's borrowed fund. But if it is equity fund, then they need not pay any dividend, because if there is a loss in the business, you need not pay the dividend to the shareholders. So in that case, your equity becomes cheaper source of finance. So you have to think from all these angles, and then you can classify the activities into operating, investing and financing activities, and you can segregate the cash flow, inflow and outflow also, like these activities. Now let us move on to the next part. The next point, economic decisions. What do you mean by economic decisions? The decisions related to money matter, isn't it? Very, very important. So when you take decision regarding any investment, operating or a financing activity, then you should decide on the basis of the cash generated, that is cash inflow, or cash spent, that is a cash outflow. So depending upon cash inflow and cash outflow, you will take economic decisions. If the inflow is more than the outflow, then you can think of, that is meeting all the obligations and to become debt free, isn't it? If outflow is more than, that is inflow, then you have to make arrangement for this generation of fund, that is inflow of funds in the organization. That will be decided on the basis of your cash flow statement. So that is another objective of preparing cash flow statement. Next one is ability of the firm to generate cash. Ability of the firm to generate cash. Generate cash. There is capacity of the firm to generate cash or to get the cash, isn't it? Cash inflow. We will come to know by seeing the cash flow statement how strong the organization is, business organization is, how strong the company is, how much inflow is there, cash inflow is there, how much cash outflow is there. So this purely depends upon the cash flow statement. So the firm's capacity of cash inflow and cash outflow can be known by seeing the cash flow statement. This is another objective of cash flow statement. Moving on to the benefits of cash flow statement. What are the uses or advantages of cash flow statement or merits of cash flow statements? First one, evaluate changes in net assets. First one, to evaluate changes in that is net assets. How much increase or decrease, isn't it? That can be easily evaluated by seeing the cash flow statement. When we prepare cash flow statement, we will come to know where there is increase in the asset, where there is decrease in the asset. On the basis of that, we can take decision whether the investment is more or less, whether we have to increase the investment in fixed assets or we have to reduce the investment in the net assets. That we should decide, so that we will come to know how to divert the cash inflow or outflow, isn't it? Second one is ability of a firm to generate cash. Ability of a firm to generate cash. Ability to generate cash. That is one of the objectives also, and again it is a merit also. We will come to know the liquidity position of the business by seeing the cash inflow. More the cash inflow, more will be the liquidity position, because any time that firm will have cash in its cash box, so that it can meet any obligation at any time, isn't it? Very safe, that is very strong and more liquid, that is liquidity position will be more of such firms. So ability to generate cash can be known by preparing cash flow statement. When we prepare cash flow statement, we will come to know how much cash is there, how much cash is getting generated, and how we can divert that amount to which, that is sector, that can be easily decided. Next one is comparability is possible. Comparability is possible. That is, we can compare the expenses and income under different activities, and we can conclude where we are getting, where the cash is generated more, isn't it? In which activity, from which activity we are getting more cash, and where we are spending more, that can be easily known by seeing that is cash flow statement. So comparability is possible. We can compare each of the figures with the other figure. Current year's, that is liquidity position, current year's inflow and outflow can be compared with the previous year's inflow and outflow. That is also possible. So comparison is possible. It's very easy to compare the cash inflow and outflows of last year to current year to previous year, or some more, there's some other year, isn't it? Or the expenses and income that is generated, that can also be compared in statement of profit and loss and balance sheet. We can come to know the changes in the, that is inflow and outflow of cash. Then last one is balancing the flows. Balancing the flows in the sense balancing the cash inflow and cash outflow. there should be proper balance between cash inflow and cash outflow, isn't it? Like in an education institution, there is a fees collected from the students, isn't it? That is cash inflow. And expenses spent for payment of, that is a salary to the teachers, or payment of expenses, isn't it? Electricity bills, or any other expenses that we are paying, that is cash outflow. There should be proper balance, isn't it? If fees is not collected, how to pay for the expenses? How to pay the salaries to the teachers? Not possible. If only cash inflow is there, there is no outflow. That is also not good. So there should be proper balance. This year we got full fees, next year no fees. Then there will be imbalance in the cash flow, correct? So inflow and outflow, that is inflow and outflow. That is, we have to keep a balance so that our liquidity position can be maintained at any point of time. Otherwise, what happens? There will be there is a nil amount of cash on fine day, one fine morning, and you may have to close down the business just for want of, that is a working capital, rather we call it as, isn't it? Current assets and current liability. If we deduct CL from CA, then we will get, that is a working capital. So working capital is required to run the business. Day-to-day operations of the business should be run by using the working capital, isn't it? The short-term finance. So by preparing cash flow statement, we can balance the cash inflow and cash outflow. We can maintain a proper balance so that there will not be, there is a confusion, or there will not be any shortage of funds or excess of funds in the business. So these are different, that is benefits or advantages of cash flow statements. Now moving further, classification of activities. The activities that are done by a business concern, we can classify those activities into three categories. Classification of activities. We can classify the activities of a business into three categories. First one is operating activity. Second one, investing activities. And third one, financing activities. What do you mean by operating activities? Operating activities, very simple, friends. Whatever you are doing every day in a business organization, that is manufacturing, then taking the strain of promotion, selling, distribution, administration, isn't it? All these comes under the operating activities. Or in other words, we can say that whatever activity we undertake to manufacture the product and to send it to the customers, they are coming under operating activities. Manufacturing the goods, maintaining all the facilities for manufacturing, then putting efforts to sell those goods, send those goods to the customers, like selling expenses, operating expenses we spent, isn't it? All these comes under the operating activities. Then what is investing activity? That is investment in non-current assets. Non-current assets. What do you mean by non-current assets? That is fixed assets, isn't it? That is fixed assets. So when we buy machinery, when we buy furniture, when we buy plant, isn't it? When we buy building to run a business, these are long-term investments. Long-term investments which cannot be recovered within a period of 1 year or 2 years, isn't it? So you have to invest in some, that is a process, for a longer period of time, like when you buy a machine, that machine will be bought with the intention of using it for a longer period of time, isn't it? So whatever amount you invest in that asset is nothing but investing activity. It comes under investing activity. So anything that is you are spending on long term assets is nothing but investing activity. Remember friends, more you invest in long term assets, higher will be the chance for earning profit. More you invest in short term assets, current assets, lesser will be the chance for earning profits. But when you invest more in current assets, then your liquidity position will increase, that is, your ability to meet obligations will be easy, but you will lose the profitability, that is a part of the business. So because these funds are diverted to day-to-day expenses which will not give you any return. If you invest in some other machine or modernization or new technology, isn't it, then the time spent to produce the goods can be reduced, output can be increased, quality of the goods can be improved, isn't it? Thereby your sales can be improved and profit margin can be increased. So that is the rationale behind investing in fixed assets and current assets. So here all those long term investments comes under, that is investing activities. What do you mean by financing activities? Financing activity is nothing but that is whatever you spend, that from which source you have arranged it, whether it is a short term loan, trade credit, overdraft, isn't it? All these are short term finance. But long term finance like you are issuing debentures, you are issuing bonds, you are issuing shares, isn't it? All these comes under the long term source of finance. So these activities, that is arranging the fund, isn't it, for long term purpose is nothing but that is financing activity. So activities of a business can be categorized into 3 categories, that is operating activities, investing activities and financing activities. And we have to prepare cash flow statement for all these 3 activities. In examination they may not ask you all the 3, they will ask you 1. Maybe mostly operating activities will be asked in the examination. And you will get only 1 6 marks problem on this chapter. No other, that is problems, only 1 or 2 theory questions of 2 and 1 mark may be asked. But other than that, 1 practical oriented question will be there. But the question is whether this chapter will be there for the board exam. That is the question mark now. If I don't know if the syllabus is reduced and if this is deleted, don't blame me. But friends, you study from knowledge point of view, which will help you in future when you reach your degree classes. Don't go with the 0, that is knowledge regarding accountancy. Then you will be blamed, isn't it? So better you study these things, whether it is there for exam or not, whether exam is there or not, don't worry, you just study, your knowledge level will increase. That is a good benefit you are getting here. Clear? Yes. Now moving on to next part. Let me take up, there are 2 types of problems they will ask in the examination. There are 2 types. First one is direct method, and second one is indirect method. See, direct method very simple. That is eating like this, isn't it? Straight away. Indirect method, you will take the food, you will turn, you will bring your hand behind your head, isn't it? Then you will try to eat like this. That is indirect method. That is reverse calculation. Like when you launch a rocket, isn't it? That is reverse counting will start. It starts from maybe 60, isn't it? 59, 58, 59, like your in advertisement. When you watch a serial on your television, isn't it? Then advertisement, first no counting at all. Maybe 3 or 4 minutes they will drag. Then to make you please, isn't it? They will start. Now 180, 179, 177, like that. 178, 177, like that. When it reaches 0, advertisement comes to an end, isn't it? Sometimes we feel like whether we are watching advertisement or whether we are watching serial. It happens in such a way that you are watching the advertisement and serials are coming in between, isn't it? But actually serials you are watching, but advertisements comes in between, but it disturbs in such a way. So there are some serials or there are some movies, isn't it? You can see that it's ad free, isn't it? No disturbance of the advertisements. So whatever it is, let us come to the point here. So direct method and indirect method. Here we will start from revenue from operations. Revenue from operations. Then we will deduct all the expenses. We will add all the incomes, and then we will deduct tax, and ultimately will come to know how much is the profit of the business, profit after tax. That is straightforward method, isn't it? Under indirect method, we will start from net profit. So PAT, profit after tax. Then what we will do is we will go in a reverse way. Whatever should have been deducted, we will add, and whatever should have been added, we will deduct. That is what we will do. Very simple. That is, we will start from like straightforward calculations. I will tell you, or revenue from operations, isn't it? Then add other income, maybe then less expenses, isn't it? Then profit before tax minus tax, will get PAT, profit after tax, isn't it? This is direct method. Indirect method is we will start from PAT, profit after tax. Here we have deducted, we will add tax, then we will come to know how much was the PBT. Am I correct? Let me assign figures here. 100, other income maybe 10, 110, expenses maybe 60, isn't it? So remaining amount is 50, PBT is for 50, tax is maybe 50%, so 25, so PAT is 25. This is illustration here. Clear? Now what we will do is we will take this 25, and here we have deducted PBT. From PBT we have deducted tax minus, isn't it? Now what we will do is we will add 25 plus 25, we will get 50. Like this, friends, that's all, nothing else. Ultimately we will have the lunch, isn't it? Either straight away like this, or we will turn like this and we will eat. So that is direct and indirect method. So we have 50, then what we will do is here minus, so we will add here. We will add. So we will get 110, isn't it? When we add, we will get 110. Actually it is minus. Then here add, we will deduct. 110 minus 10, we will get 100. So we will reach up to revenue from operations, right? So that is what indirect method is. We will start from the end and we will come to the beginning. Direct method is we will start from the beginning and we will come to the, we will reach up to end. What is the ultimate result, isn't it? So these are the two different methods. Then operating activities. What are the items that are included in operating activities? That is very, very important to know. There are two parts, cash inflow and cash outflows, correct? Cash inflows like proceeds from sale of goods and services. When you sell goods and services, that is related to the operating activity. Operating activity, whatever cash generates, that is cash inflow from operating activity. Then receipt from royalties, fees, isn't it? Commission and other revenues. What do you mean by royalty? Royalty. We will come across this account also, royalty account, when you reach degree classes. But for the time being, what is royalty? Royalty is the like a rent paid by the person who hires, isn't it? Let me give best example. I have a land, suppose, and there is rock, black stone, isn't it? Or maybe red stone, what do you call in Kannada, Murakallu, isn't it? Or black stone is Padekallu, isn't it? Like that. Suppose I have. What I will do is, I will allow that there is a rock to break and to sell it in market to someone, maybe contracting company or someone who is a contractor, who is expert in that field. Because I don't have any idea regarding that. Someone who is expert in that field, I will inform him to do the business, and for each stone sold, he has to pay some amount to me, which is called royalty. Which is called royalty. There will be an agreement. There will be an agreement between myself and the person who undertakes to do that work, do that business, isn't it? So that agreement goes for a longer period of time, maybe for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. So till then, whatever stones he removes from my land, that person has to pay per that is a stone, or per year this much, or per month this much. Like that, some agreement will be done. Whatever return I am getting for using my land by that person is nothing but royalty. So that is called royalty, and this is like rent to the landowner, isn't it? Rent to the landowner. So that is royalty here. So that is that comes under, that is operating activities. That is inflow I am speaking. If we move on to the outflow side, payment of employee benefit expenses like payment of salary, wages, employee benefits like leave travel allowance, isn't it? Or house rent allowance, or canteen subsidy, or any other benefits that is provided to the employee, that comes under employee benefit expenses. Employee benefit expenses. Then purchase of inventory from suppliers. When you purchase inventory of stock or raw materials, isn't it, from the suppliers, that also comes under, it is a outflow of cash. It is outflow of cash, comes under operating activities. Then payment of taxes, operating expenses like selling expenses, administrative expenses, distribution expenses, payment of taxes to the government, isn't it? All these comes under the operating expenses. That's operating activities. Operating activities. Moving on to the second one, that is investing activities. Sale of property, that is plant, equipment, or any long-term assets. We call it as non-current assets. Non-current assets or fixed assets. Under that, maybe both are there, tangible and intangible, isn't it? Intangible like goodwill, trademark, copyright, patents, all this comes under, that is intangible assets. So whatever we invest on those assets, when we acquire those assets for use in the business, like plant and machinery, or furniture, or maybe land, isn't it? Everything, those long-term assets comes under the investing activities. Investing activities, that is purchase of property, land, plant, equipment, and non-current, that is investments, non-current investments, long-term investments, comes under cash outflow. Cash outflow. Cash inflow, sale of property, plant, equipment, that is long-term assets when sold. When we sell all these assets, it comes under, that is long-term assets, or that is inflow from investing activities. Then receipt from interest and dividends, receipt of interest and dividend, isn't it? That comes under, that is investing activities, that is inflow. Remember, any interest that is generated, or that is interest, financial matters for a financing company, it becomes operating activity and not investing activity. Remember friends, because their business is that is borrowing and lending, isn't it? Finance company means borrowing and lending. So any interest paid or any interest received comes under, that is operating activities, not under investing activities. Remember. Then financing activities like proceeds from issue of preference or equity shares, isn't it? Issuance of debt bonds, then procurement of loans, maybe mostly long-term loans, isn't it? Comes under the inflow of that is cash, that is through financing activity. So whenever you issue shares, you will get income, you will get money, though it is a borrowed fund, but still you will get the amount. When you issue debentures, you will get money, inflow of cash. So all this comes under financing activity. Then redemption of preference shares, buyback of own equity shares. When you redeem the preference shares, when you repay the amount and when you collect the preference shares back, then it is outflow of cash. You will have to pay cash to the preference shareholders, comes under, that is financing activity. Then payment of long-term debt, isn't it? Also comes under, that is a cash outflow from financing activity. Payment of dividend and interest, when we pay interest and dividend, comes under financing activity. But in case of, that is companies which are dealing in this doing the business of borrowing and lending, isn't it? Then in that case, non-financial enterprise only, it is considered more appropriate that payment of interest and dividends are classified as financing activities. But in case of finance companies, it will be treated as what? Operating activities only, not financing activity. Remember. So this is in brief about that is a cash flow statement theory part. I'll give that is this information: financing, investing, and operating, investing, and financing activities, inflow and outflow. That chart I will give you in the next class, so that there will not be confusion for you to solve the problem, right? Yes. Now take down assignment. Mention the two flows of cash. Mention the two flows of cash. Yes. Submit your assignment on time. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.